today it is May 31st, the last day of the month. And I don't know if it's I've been counting and doing videos every day, but May seemed forever long. So today is the 31st day of the month. Remember that little mishap when the month started? So I have currently 31 videos. This would be my 32nd video. And I have to say, looking at it in its totality, I feel very productive and feel very accomplished. Very proud of myself that I pushed through in the days that I certainly didn't want to do these videos. And it's nice to see a collection of things you've worked on, and of commitment and following through. So that's encouraging for me. Interestingly, what I have heard repeatedly throughout the month has been that I am so brave and so strong. And thank you, everyone who feels that way and who's tried to encourage me with those words. Interestingly, the things that I felt are the things I said. Productive, a woman of my word. I don't feel very brave and strong for divulging my story. I actually feel like it was probably a misstep professionally, and it's really hard to kind of, talk against those kinds of negative thoughts, always seeing the cloud as opposed to the lining. But it is our last video, and I did get one question, and that's all we need, right? So let me read that to you guys, and I'll address it. Actually, I had a follow-up question, or there was a question on the live feed yesterday about what if you are the negative person, because remember the original question was, had my marriage or had that relationship kind of slowed up my healing process, and that, how did I feel about the idea that your spouse should, be a healthy force for you? And I said absolutely, but I also think that any relationship should be a positive force and should not be toxic. So the question that was posed to me was, what if you're the negative person? What if you're the unhealthy factor? And I'm not exactly sure if it was posed as like devil's advocate, like how would I feel being cut off, since my suggestion was to cut off. But I thought about it for a while, and awareness is everything. Self-awareness is everything. So if you know you're unhealthy, then you can work on it, and you guys could work on it together. But if not, you have to fall back. If you realize that there are parts about you that aren't healthy for this dynamic or this relationship, then you have to get yourself right. And at the end of the day, we have to be focused on our self-care. So that was the follow-up from yesterday's question. Today, the person says that I've covered a lot of things that they can relate to. And can I talk about the pep talks that I have to give myself to convince myself to leave home or get out of bed or clean? This is a great question, and this is a very real decision that has to be made every day, and sometimes multiple times a day, to do the next thing. I have said in the past that my children are my savior in so many ways, because they just motivate me to do more. If I didn't have to get them to school, then I would be laying in my bed. So the pep talks. Now, why do we have to give ourselves pep talks as opposed to maybe recruiting someone to give us a pep talk? Like at a hotel, they give you the wake-up call. I have found for myself that I get tired of hearing the record. I feel like a broken record. I feel like I'm annoying. I feel like, you don't really want to hear what's really happening. I feel like the things that I'm dealing with are minuscule in comparison to things in the world. I feel like the things that I have issue with and I'm having a hard time overcoming are things that normal regular, most people can handle without any kind of hiccup. So, yes, it becomes difficult to reach out on a consistent basis. I reach out often, but then I feel like I don't want to be this person's burden. I don't want to, you know, my number comes up on the cell phone and they're like, oh God, what is she? They might love me, but they just might not want to deal with my stuff. So that is why for me, I have to give self-pep talks a lot, because if not, all I'm listening to is the negative noise up in here and the things I feel in here, and I'm not getting any other kind of message. But I used to take the train to work, and my job was a stop after DeKalb. And I would get to DeKalb and I would start crying. Like, we'd pull into the station and I would have some panic and I would start crying because I knew what I had to face in the next 15 minutes. And I had to start kind of... Now, mind you, this place was horribly unhealthy for me, emotionally abusive, you know, physically questionable. Like, this place was a wreck. But at the same time, it's where I needed to go. It was my responsibilities. It was my job. So I had to give myself a pep talk. And I knew it was coming. And I'd be like, okay, why are you doing this? You know, why do you need to go to this place? Why are you sacrificing and surrendering in this way? And it was for my children, so we could eat, so we could do, you know, we can pay bills. Now, when you are at that point that you have to give yourself a pep talk to get out of your bed, to get into the door at your job, to deal with your spouse, to take a shower, to clean your house. I think if you have to consistently pull yourself out to do those things, there's a deeper problem. And you need to look at that. And it wasn't until months of pep talks and months of crying to get to work that I finally had a doctor who was like, you need to work on some things. And that wasn't, I didn't even heed that until my boss was like, you need to heed this. So again, when you're dealing with mental illness, when you're dealing with stress, anxiety, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, borderline personality disorder, you know, major depressive disorder, any of the various things that can affect your mental wellness, you kind of got to kick yourselves in the tushy sometimes and be like, let's get going. Let's get it, you know, let's do this. Sometimes they're easier than others. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I give myself a pep talk to get someplace and I'm still sitting on the couch 2 hours later and I feel then crappy. But you do have to motivate yourself when you can. Reach out for the resources to help motivate you when you can't. And if you can't consistently and often, get help. Get help and be like, I haven't showered in 3 weeks. You know, I haven't done my dishes. I cry, you know, going to this particular place every time. And just start to kind of unpack that. So thank you for your question. I think that was an awesome question. I'm going to wrap up. We're at 9 minutes, and I don't want to belabor the point on the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month. But what's next, right? So what's next? Traumattire is... Traumattire LLC has its certificate of publication. We have our EIN. I have my crowdfunder page. I have some orders already. I have a meeting with an artist this week to kind of solidify some of the designs. I'm in the process of looking for a pattern maker. I am making this happen. So follow me, like, subscribe, share, talk about it. Get people to look into Traumattire and look into my story. But thank you so much for hanging out with me this month. I'm not going anywhere necessarily due to social media trends and statistics and analytics. I gotta rock with you on some level. So I will do my best to submit a couple of videos a week. But I hope everyone enjoyed this month. I hope everyone realizes that no one is crazy and we're all a little crazy, I guess. But mental illness doesn't look like the person on the train or the person on the street that you have to run from. It is regular people dealing with the trials of life and their bodies and their brains adjusting for their life. Anyway, I'm done. Bye. Oh, wait. The Is Kids want to say bye in the last video. Come. Oh, Isaiah doesn't, but.
Bye-bye.
Say bye.
Bye-bye, Daddy.
It's not